Hello everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we are gonna discuss the ATGMs, aka the rockets or missiles that Sheridan NT92E1 received this update. So, first of all, I want to introduce the subject by talking about the reasons Wargaming implemented these rockets. At least in my opinion, nothing is confirmed, but I think it's in order to restrain camping. Why? Because with missiles, you can actually destroy campers pretty easily, which should lead to people not camping and playing actively, because the more you move, the harder you are to be hit by missiles. But it did the opposite effect. At least that's my feeling, or the feedbacks I have from players, from subscribers whenever I talk about it. Because people are feared about getting hit by those missiles because it's a 560 damage shot. Therefore, if you take one, it's gonna destroy a lot of your HPs. So, how does it work? Let's say you're in a tank destroyer, you're hiding in a bush and you would like to push with your team, but you know there is in front of you a Sheridan, for example, and you know this guy is using missiles. Therefore, what do? Do you take the risk of being spotted, but at least you can push with your enemies, with your allies, sorry, or you don't take shots and you wait for the Sheridan to go away or to be killed before pushing? Most of the players will answer the second option, and that's why, in my opinion, these missiles are improving camping. Because even if you, even if it did prevent camping from tank destroyers, etc., by adding the missiles, you improve the number of campers with Sheridan NT92E1. For example, here, if I didn't have missiles, I would play much more aggressively. But here, I don't need to, because I don't need to show myself. I just need to be behind the ridge line, just try to spot something, and that's all. That's all. I don't need to take risks, so why should I take them? So, in my opinion, there are three main things I dislike, or at least I think should change about the ATGMs, aka missiles. The first one is the penetration. You have 340 millimeters of penetration with the missiles, which means that most of the time when you place your cursor on something, you don't need to aim at weak spots. You just need to put your cursor on the tank, whatever part, we don't care, it's gonna penetrate most of the time. Except, of course, if you're playing against really armored tanks, for example, the Yak Panther E100 or a mouse. Therefore, you will have to aim. But when you're facing any tier 8s, or lightly armored tier 10 or tier 9, for example AMX 5120, they don't stand a chance. You are gonna penetrate them, and if you're good enough with the missiles, especially with the penetration, you can penetrate the mouse pretty much all along, because you just need to shoot in the sky and wait for your shell to fall down on the roof of the tank, because in this game not a single tank has a good armor on the roof. Therefore, shouldn't be hard to penetrate. That's the first thing I guess Wargaming should change about the missiles. Next, let's talk about the rocket itself, and especially the rocket mobility. In my opinion, the rockets move and turn way too fast. I mean, you can relocate your shell too easily. They should do something about this, because the mobility is so crazy. I mean, for everybody who saw my compilation of epic missile shots, you already know what I'm talking about. For example, you aim in the sky, the guy is behind the rock, and at the right moment you aim straight on the guy, and in less than half a second your shell turn around and boom, directly on the guy. So I think it's a problem. They should do something to not allow those rockets to turn so fast. I mean, what are you supposed to do when you're playing something else than these tanks, or something that is quick against these rockets? You can't do nothing, because as long as you're playing light tanks or medium tanks, you can still bounce it, or you can avoid them, because you have the mobility for it. But when you're playing an E100, for example, what are you supposed to do, man? You're just supposed to take all the shots and die, because a Sheridan is hiding behind a corner and just destroying the shit out of your tank. So that's the second thing. And the worst thing, at least in my opinion, the worst thing ever is that Wargaming already told us a couple of years, sorry, ago, that in Blitz, Wargaming will not allow arties, because arties are definitely not suitable for the gameplay in World of Tanks Blitz, because the maps are too small. It's a 7 versus 7 game, so if we add arties, it's gonna make the game boring, etc. But you have to remember one thing: these ATGM's shell are worse than RT, because at least, okay, RT can shoot you from the bottom of the map, alright, but these ATGMs can shoot you behind a rock. They can shoot you behind a rock. And of course, you don't have any gun dispersion such as the one you have on arties, because on arties the gun dispersion was so bad. Here you don't have gun dispersion because your shells goes right where you're shooting, and that's just, this is it. I mean, look at this. For example, T28 Defender, I'm just aiming, derp, shell coming from the sky, boom, you take 560 alpha damage in your ass. You don't ask anything, you're hiding, he didn't make any mistakes. I mean, the ATGMs are not punishing mistakes, they are punishing everybody for whatever reason. You don't have to make a mistake to actually be hit by these. And it's so sneaky. I mean, I don't even need to show myself to be able to shot them. It will encourage camping in this kind of tanks, because you just have to, you just hide behind the ridge line and you place your cursor on the tank and you're just waiting, and between all of your reloads you shoot in the sky. You then next aim at the guy, it's gonna penetrate at least 80%. 80% of your shells are gonna go through. So if it's not RT, it's really close to it, because it means you're hiding, nobody spots you, and you attack from the sky. I mean, it's pretty similar to RT, let's be honest. So I think, of course, ATGMs need to be balanced. It's not enough, in my opinion, but I don't know if it's not enough, because at the moment the tanks are quite popular. Therefore, there are 3 ATGMs tanks in each game, in each team. And maybe after when the hype will go down, we will see less and less T92E1 and Sheridan, and it should be better. But if it goes for the same as the Progetto, for example, and we see one Progetto, so one Sheridan in each team, in each battle, that's gonna be pretty boring and pretty soon. So I think it needs fix. We need to nerf them, and I have a couple of ideas actually. If Wargaming sees this video, maybe they are gonna. But after all, maybe Wargaming thinks they are balanced. But the statistics will tell us in the future. But I think I'll do 2 things to be able to fix this. The first thing first, I would lower the rocket penetration. 340 is so much. When you're playing a T92E1 with 340 millimeters, you will not bounce any tier 8. You will not bounce any tier 9s. At least you can bounce some tier 10s, of course, but you can still bounce tier 9s if you don't aim at the right angle, etc. But talking about the roof of the tanks, you will not bounce anything. The second thing would be to lower or at least decrease the rocket mobility, because at the moment it's too easy to snapshot with rockets. Snapshots should be a thing with real guns that have a high velocity, but not for rockets. Rockets are meant to be slow, they are meant not to be used quite often, but everybody is spamming the missiles. So I would do something about this. And I really hope Wargaming is gonna do something about the rockets. I know they asked community contributors to ask their community, at least for the YouTubers, if we were enjoying the missiles. And I know overall everybody likes missiles, but do you like missiles because you play only these tanks and it's best for you because it's suitable for you at the moment? But will you enjoy the missiles when you are gonna be the guy facing them? Ask yourself the right questions, guys. Anyway, this video is now over. I would like you to tell me what you think in the comments about my quick expose on the missiles, because you can have a different opinion, of course, and it's interesting. At least in my opinion, that's interesting. Thank you all for listening, and don't forget that you're not here to be better, but to be the best. Pantoufleee over.